On paper, everything looked perfect. Married for 5 years, living in a quiet suburb, 2 cars in the driveway, and smiles at dinner parties. People used to say we were that couple, the ones others envied, but they didn't see how often I ate alone. How many nights I fell asleep staring at the ceiling while Mark's side of the bed stayed cold. He wasn't cruel. He was just absent. Not in body, in spirit. Work always came first, then came sleep, and somewhere way down, the list came me. I stopped trying to fight for attention. You can only repeat yourself so many times before your silence becomes the loudest part of you. Mark used to notice the little things, how I wore my hair, the perfume I chose, the way my mood changed with the weather. Now he only noticed when his shirts weren't ironed. He said, "Love you," like a habit. I said it back like a memory. One morning, I stared at myself in the mirror and realized I couldn't remember the last time I felt wanted, desired, not for dinner plans or family, photos, but for who I am beneath the surface. My reflection felt like a stranger. I smiled at her anyway. That same day, a message lit up my phone. A friend request, Liam James. The name made my stomach clench. College, late nights in dorm rooms, laughing until sunrise, kisses behind, library shelves. He was my almost, the one I let go because I thought I was supposed to chase security, not chemistry. I stared at his profile picture longer than I should have. Same crooked smile, same messy hair. He looked older, sure, but still him. I tapped accept before I could talk myself out of it. Hours passed. Nothing. Then just before midnight, he messaged me. Still the most beautiful woman I've ever known. That's all it said. Simple, direct, dangerous. I didn't reply, but I didn't delete it either. I stared at those words until they burned into me. Mark came home late, muttered something about meetings, and fell asleep before his head hit the pillow. I lay next to him wide awake, heart racing over a message I hadn't even answered. But deep down, I already had. I replied the next night. Nothing dramatic, just, "You still know how to cause trouble." He responded instantly, like he'd been waiting. Our messages were playful at first, nostalgic, talking about professors we hated, parties we barely remembered, songs we danced to in kitchens barefoot and drunk. I laughed more in those texts than I had in months. Mark didn't notice the difference. Or if he did, he didn't ask. He'd become used to my silence, comfortable with the version of me that didn't interrupt his work calls or question his late nights. So I gave him exactly what he expected. Nothing. But Liam noticed everything. He remembered how I took my coffee. He asked how my art was going, even though I hadn't picked up a brush in 2 years. He sent me a photo of an old note I wrote him, folded, faded, but kept. I stared at that image longer than I should have. One night, Liam asked if I was happy. I typed yes, then deleted it, then typed no, deleted that too. Finally, I just sent, "I'm tired." He didn't try to fix it, just replied, "Then let me keep you company." We started talking every night. The glow of my phone felt more intimate than Mark's touch ever had. I didn't tell Liam about my marriage. I didn't need to. He could read between the lines. Eventually, the messages stopped being innocent. He'd describe memories in too much detail. The feel of my lips, the sound I made when I laughed against his skin. I didn't stop him. One night I sent a photo, not revealing. Just me in bed, no makeup, biting my lips slightly. He replied instantly, "Jesus, you're even more dangerous now." I felt alive, not guilty, not ashamed, alive. Mark was asleep beside me when Liam messaged again. "Tell me what you want." I stared at that message for a long time. The truth was, I didn't know. I just knew I missed being seen, being wanted. I typed, "I want to remember who I was before I disappeared." He responded, "Then let me remind you." I should have stopped. I didn't. I told myself it was still just words, but I already knew words were more dangerous than touch. Because I hadn't touched Liam yet, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. We met without planning it out loud. A casual, offhand message. "I'll be near your side of town tomorrow." I replied, "Maybe I'll be around." No promises, but we both showed up. He looked the same, familiar in a way that made my chest ache. He smiled like he'd never lost me. I smiled like I wasn't married. We walked for an hour, pretending it was just coffee, but everything in the air between us said otherwise. I didn't flinch when his hand brushed mine. I didn't stop him when it stayed there. When he said, "Do you have time?" I nodded. In his apartment, he didn't kiss me right away. He just looked at me like I was something he didn't think he'd ever get to see again. I felt nervous, exposed, electrified. I broke the silence first. "Are you going to ask me if I'm sure?" He shook his head. "You're already here." He touched me like I was made of something fragile and rare. I let him. I let go. I didn't think about Mark. I didn't think about consequences. Thought about how long it had been since someone wanted all of me, not just my presence, but my pulse. Every kiss stripped away a layer of numbness I hadn't realized I'd been carrying. Every breath between us said what words couldn't. This wasn't just physical, this was something I had buried. When it was over, we didn't speak for a while. He rested his hand on my bare back. I listened to his breathing, steady and real. I didn't feel regret. I didn't feel guilt. I felt full. I felt seen. I stood up slowly, wrapping the sheet around me. My phone lit up on the nightstand. 14 missed calls, all from Mark. I didn't pick up. I watched Liam sleeping, and I wondered what it meant. Not the act, but the fact that I didn't want to leave. I wasn't running away from my life. I was walking towards something I'd lost a long time ago, the part of me that still believed in desire, in being chosen, not just kept. I wasn't his wife in that moment. I wasn't anyone's responsibility. I was just a woman who had said yes to something real. And I wasn't sorry. Not even a little. I walked through the door just after sunrise. Mark was sitting at the table, still in yesterday's clothes, dark circles under his eyes. He didn't yell. He didn't ask where I'd been. He just looked at me like he already knew. And the weight of that look hit harder than any accusation could. I stood in silence. He finally spoke. "Is there anything you want to say?" I met his eyes. "No, I think you already know." He laughed once, bitter and low. "I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know how far gone it was." I didn't deny anything. I didn't offer excuses. I wasn't going to insult him with half-truths. "You could have told me," he said. "I did," I answered. "Just not in words you ever listened to." He rubbed his face like he was trying to erase the reality between us. "So what now?" I didn't have an answer. I hadn't come home to fix anything. I came to end the pretending. "You always wanted honesty. There it is." He stared at me, broken but not surprised. "Did you love him?" I didn't flinch. No. I loved how I felt when I was with him. That hurt him more. I saw it. But it was the truth. I wasn't chasing romance. I was chasing the version of myself I'd buried in compromise. He stood, up slowly. "I gave you everything." "You gave me security," I said. "You never gave me attention." We didn't scream. We didn't beg. It was too far gone for that. He walked out of the room. I packed a small bag without speaking. I didn't go to Liam. I didn't want to replace one shadow for another. I booked a hotel. Alone. I watched the city from the window, the world moving as if nothing had shifted. But everything had. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt raw, exposed, but I also felt real. The lie wasn't the affair. The lie was pretending we were still in love, that we hadn't both let go long before anyone else touched me. Mark wanted honesty, so I showed him everything. He saw the part of me he had forgotten, and for once, I didn't hold anything back.